Hello, welcome to another live episode of Ask Roxsi. Today's topic is realignment and activation, how to tap into your higher self by addressing your core values, your habits, your beliefs, and a few other things that we're going to discuss today. And then I am also going to do a one-card collective message for the entire collective regarding how we get in our own way. So a message from Spirit about how we can get out of our own way. I want to ask anyone who's here to tag 5 friends or tell someone that you're on this live and share the message, because sharing is caring, and we can all use this information that I'm going to be sharing today. Even I constantly go back to taking inventory related to the information I'm going to be sharing with you today. So the topic is alignment. The topic is realignment, right? And so the reason why I did not call this session alignment and activation is because whether or not you want to believe that you are aligned to something. We are always aligned to something. Whether that alignment is something that we want to be aligned to, intentionally or unintentionally, we are always aligned with some path which is helping us to bring forth our reality as a manifestation. Okay, so what I want to discuss today is how to become intentionally aligned, because as I mentioned, we're all aligned, but what you are currently aligned with is what you see now in your reality. So I want you to take a second and I want you to think about your reality, the current state that you are living in. That is the product of your actions that have been taken and the alignment that you have been in. So whatever your reality looks like right now in this present moment, it is a perfect example of your current alignment. It is not an example of what your future alignment looks like, because in the present you can take action and make changes in order for your aligned reality to be aligned with what it is you truly want and desire in your life. So if right now your reality does not reflect what it is that you would like to see in your life, I'm going to give you a couple clues on what areas you may need to address or take inventory in order for you to become aligned with your dreams as well as your heart's true desire. Because we all have the ability, the gift, the capability to walk in our purpose, to walk in a life that is truly fulfilled, but it is our actions and the way that we respond to life which dictates what we will see our reality look like. So the first 3 things that you have to address and regularly take inventory when you're thinking about your alignment and your position of alignment, right, is your core values, your beliefs, and your habits. These 3 areas you need to regularly do inventory. To be quite honest, I suggest doing weekly inventory. I usually do this on Saturday or Sunday. I think about, my values, my habits, my beliefs, the ones that are outdated, what's getting in the way. This doesn't mean that I always make changes, because I'm human and I have habits and difficulties just like anyone else. So there are habits that I struggle with just like you do, but I regularly take inventory and recognize that I do want to work on that habit and try to take a little more accountability and be a little more disciplined and intentional each day so that I become more aligned with what it is that I want my life to look like. Okay? So you are aligned, as I mentioned, whether it's intentional or unintentional, tongue-tied. Whether you are intentionally or unintentionally being aligned to the reality that you are experiencing right now, you are aligned. And so in order for you to disconnect with a reality that does not quite reflect your desires, you need to make adjustments to your values, to your beliefs, and to your habits. So let's talk a little bit about core values, because core values dictate our belief system. And our core values are established over 3 periods within our life according to psychology. But I'm going to share with you a secret period that occurs in life that no one really talks about, especially except for those who are working constantly on their own self-evolution and elevation. They know that there is improvement that you can do once you have reached over the age of 21, but psychology says that we go through these type of cycles. So I'm going to discuss those 3 cycles with you, and I'm going to discuss how you learn those core values and how you can now begin to address the values that don't quite match your dreams or your purpose or your goals in life. Okay, so first we establish ethical values that are established based off of morale. Then we establish social values that are based on our external environment, our network, the people in our family, the people that we interact with. Then there is aesthetic values, the values that we establish based off of personal preference on the outside or materialistic values. And then lastly, there are religious or indoctrined values that you learn based off of some religious system or some type of doctrine that you follow. So these are 4 different types of core values that we each establish over our lifetime, which help to dictate what our beliefs are and indirectly affect how we respond and react to life and its conflicts, challenges, as well as its blessings. Now, when we are establishing our values, we establish this during 3 different cycles in our life. The first cycle is called the imprint period. This is a period where we learn from copying people around us. This occurs from birth until the age of 7. That is a period where it's really, really important that what we show children reflects right and wrong that we want them to take into their adulthood, because our ideas of what is right and what is wrong begins to become formatted and established at that age between the birth to 7 years old. And that is why when we see separations occur at that age for kids, it can have a very large impact, even though you may feel that the children didn't quite know that person well enough to miss that person. This is not quite true. The child was actually learning right and wrong and how to establish an understanding of right and wrong during that period of time when that person was in their life. So the impact of, fatherless homes or motherless homes or single parent households or households where you're bringing multiple partners in and out has a large impact on the establishment of right and wrong for children, which then follows us into our adulthood if we do not actively and intentionally address those values for ourselves after the age of 21. Then we have the modeling period, which is between the ages of 13 to 21. During the modeling period, we're copying and we're actively modeling the behavior of the people around us, whether it's our friends, it's our family, it's people that we're interacting with in school. So it's really, really important to pay close attention to your teenagers and the behaviors that you see them modeling, especially if that's not a behavior that you express in your household. You should be cautious to understand where is that child learning that particular behavior from, especially if it is a behavior that can become detrimental to that child in the future. The next stage is the socialization stage, 13 to 21. During this stage, it's really about friends. It's really about who's your friends, who are you hanging out with, who are you spending the most time with, and then it is the adults around you. What type of adults are around you? How do they behave? How do they carry themselves? How do they interact? we begin to learn the skill of socialization and how to interact, how to persuade and get what we want, how to utilize and manipulate right and wrong during the age of 13 to 21. So again, the most crucial times where we're establishing core values is when we individually don't have a lot of control. We're learning these things from whomever is responsible for raising us, whomever is responsible for nurturing and nurturing us is exposing us to the things that we will copy, the things that we will model in our lives, and also the values that we will establish. And at that time, we don't really have much power because we're not raising ourselves. We're not providing sustenance and a supply for ourselves. We're relying on someone else. And so because we're relying on someone else and we don't quite have power to fight against what our peers or our environment is telling us what's wrong or right, we begin to believe that the values we establish are our own, but they're not necessarily our own because we never did inventory. We never did inventory at an adult age where we could say, do I still believe in this particular core value or belief that may have been established by my parent or by my peers or by someone in my life before the age of 21? Do I really believe everything that I value? And so there is a period that occurs from after the age of 21 to forever, meaning after the age of 21 until you determine you are ready. There is an opportunity for you to realign and to update your core programming to establish values and habits and belief that align and reflect the life that you would like to live. Okay? So if you want to be aligned with something specific, it is really important for you to explore your top 10 values. What are the top 10 things that you value the most? Morally, ethically, religiously, aesthetically. What are those 10 things you value the most? Are those 10 things aligned with the lifestyle that you want to live? Are those 10 things aligned with the people you want to be around or the people you're currently around, right? And are those values really truly values that have high meaning to you, or are they values that you were taught to hold at a high standard? Okay, so that's the first step. Taking inventory regarding your top 10 values, the things that you feel are most important morally, ethically, religiously, socially, and aesthetically. Write those 10 things down and then see if those 10 things match with the life that you're living currently and the life that you want to live. If it doesn't match, you're then going to have to reestablish new values and begin to reestablish new belief systems that reinforce these new values that align with the lifestyle that you would like to live. Beliefs. Beliefs are the product of our values. Whatever it is that we value, we create beliefs around, okay? So, for example, I'm going to use this example. It's a very old example. It's not an example that's quite relevant to me in my life anymore, but it is an example of when I did have a poverty mindset. One of the values that I felt contributed to that poverty mindset is that I was taught to always be humble, right? And it's good to be humble, but there's levels to being humble. When you're being humble and it's getting in the way of your bag, that is not abundance, that is not prosperous, that is not righteous, okay? Unless it's something that you're doing with a volunteer spirit, you know? If you're doing this because your intention is to give back, then by all means, don't worry about the bag. But if you're doing this and this is your career, this is something you feel is in your purpose, this is something that you feel you need to make a living on, humble and the bag doesn't always go together. But you can be respectful. You can have integrity. You can have ethics. You can have morale. You can be honest, right? But you don't necessarily have to shriek away from asking your price. You don't have to close yourself off from truly knowing your value or expressing that you know your value, okay? So one of the things that I realized is I needed to realign my understanding of what humble was for me and what my beliefs were around being humble, and what was not necessarily being humble but being a fool, right? Kind of knowing the difference, or being a doormat. You know, there's a difference. Sometimes it can be difficult to see that line. And so that was an area that I had to do work in order for me to improve my mindset so that I could be walking with a prosperous mindset, a prosperous alignment versus a poverty mindset and poverty alignment. You know, if your reality reflects poverty, it is because your values, your habits, and your beliefs are unfortunately aligned with poverty thinking or negative thought processing, right? So the next stage here is working on your thoughts. What is the narrative? What is the story that you're telling yourself? Okay? That is the next stage. Once you have addressed and reviewed your values, once you have addressed and reviewed your beliefs, you want to review your thought programming. How do I communicate with myself? How do I talk to myself? What story am I telling myself on a regular basis? Does that story align with the lifestyle that I want to live? Does that story reflect the person I want to be? If the narratives that you're telling yourself in your mind are in conflict with the woman or the man that you want to be, you have to, in that moment, intentionally give yourself permission to control your thoughts and redirect them. So if you find that you're constantly on negative programming, I challenge you to do inventory and begin to redirect. Redirecting your thoughts is crucial when you're trying to upgrade your core programming. Okay, when you get a computer, you upgrade it, you put in new software because there's bugs and there's new technology, there's new updates, there's new code that is available. You're supposed to do the same thing with your mind, with your body, with your soul. We are constantly supposed to be upgrading. We're not supposed to be in a state of decline. If your life is in a state of decline, I challenge you to take a minute, be still, and get honest with yourself so that you can begin to take accountability and redirect yourself in the proper trajectory and direction that you would like to be going in. The next thing that you're going to work on is addressing your habits. What do you do like clockwork? You know, what are those habits that are clockwork habits? You know, everyone has them. Some good, some bad. If you have bad clockwork habits, what can you do to swap those habits out for healthier habits or habits that are more aligned with what you want in your life? So for example, if you have a habit of coming home each and every day and sitting down on the couch watching television or playing games, but you want to start a business, you have a great idea, but you work 9 to 5, the only time that you have to work on that business is the time that you're sitting on the couch watching TV. And so your challenge will be to create a habit of coming home and instead of watching TV, getting to work on your purpose, getting to work on your business, and making that a habit, making that clockwork. Because if that's what you want, that is what's going to be required. You can't sit on the couch and magically manifest being an entrepreneur and business owner. You got to read a book. You got to sit through a class. You got to get a mentor. You got to get a coach. You got to surround yourself with people who speak life and truth into your ideas and your beliefs and the things that you're dreaming to achieve in your life. And if you're not doing that, you are not aligned. Alignment is about action. Alignment is about discipline. Alignment is about accountability. So if you want to activate, if you want to be in your higher self, you have to take accountability and intentionally align your habits, your values, your beliefs, your core behaviors with the lifestyle, with the idea, with the person that you want to see yourself being in the future. I'm sure if you are where you want it to be, you know the work that you've done. And I congratulate you, and I know Spirit is sending love and light your way and tells you to continue to do just what you've been doing. But if you have not found a space of being content or fulfilled in your current position in life, I really challenge you to activate yourself, to challenge yourself and give yourself permission to intentionally align with your dreams, because you're worth it, because you're fully capable of living the life you want to live. The only thing getting in the way right now is your thoughts, your actions, and your network. Okay? So the next thing is diet. Diet isn't only what we consume with our mouth. Diet is what we consume with our eyes, what we consume with our ears, what we consume with our heart, what we consume with our body. Everything that we consume is part of our diet. So is your diet a reflection of the lifestyle that you want to live? Are you eating food that aligns with the lifestyle you want to live? Are you watching TV, listening to music, using language that aligns with the person or the lifestyle that you want to, or the person you want to be, or the lifestyle that you want to live, right? Because it's always really about who are we, who do we want to be, where do we want to go, are we happy with where we are in the present moment? That's life. Life is constant repetition of these types of ideas, okay? The next thing is, as you heard me say before, the network and your circle, your support system is crucial to your alignment. If you have 4 broke friends, you're going to be the 5th. I know many of you on the line have heard that before. If you have friends that are rising, you're doing what you need to do, you're going to rise with them. And you're going to rise with the network that's around you. Your name is going to be said in rooms that you're not in, because your network values you and your network wants to see you rise like they're rising, right? That's you want to have a circle of support. If the individuals in your life do not bring light into your life, they do not bring new information into your life, they do not encourage you to dream big, I would really encourage you to limit your access. Limit the access that they get to you. Limit the energy that you spend on those individuals, on those activities. Anything that is really not pouring life into you right now, you just don't have time for it. And that's because you want to be aligned with your higher self. I'm not talking about being aligned with a mediocre version of yourself. If you want to be a mediocre version of yourself, keep those friends that drain you. Keep the people who doubt you. Keep the naysayers around. But if you want to be more than mediocre, surround yourself with people who are more than mediocre. Surround yourself with people who challenge you. Surround yourself with people who say your name in rooms that you're not in. Surround yourself with people who speak and breathe life into you, and that encourage and inspire you to breathe life into them back. Because don't be an energy leech friend. Don't go out here and believe that when I'm saying network, I'm telling you to energy leech off of people. I'm saying to network and become part of the chain. Become part of the system. Elevate rise because your surroundings are elevating and rising, so that the people that you then create and bring into the link can also elevate and rise. We are communal creatures, and our community really, really, really does reflect where we're going, where our trajectory is headed. Accountability. You cannot get anywhere without accountability. If you're not willing to be accountable, if you're not willing to say, yep, I did that, it was wrong, it was fucked up, I know I gotta do better. If you're not willing to do that, you're not willing to live a prosperous life. You're not willing to want to live a life above average. You're not willing to want to be a higher version of yourself. So if you want to be a higher version of yourself, you're going to have to get real. You're going to have to get honest. You're going to have to put your big girl, big boy drawers on, and you're going to have to face your demons, your shadowed self, your bad behavior, your bad choices, your bad habits, your mistakes. You're going to have to take responsibility in order for you to take action and change and make things look different in your life. The last part is understanding, again, as I mentioned, we are much like computers. We also need to upgrade our core processing. We have to update the code. So if you have become comfortable in your life, if you're feeling fulfilled and you're fulfilled and comfortable, stay where you are and live from a position of extreme gratitude. Give back, do more, pour into others. If you're dissatisfied with your position in life, get real. Get real with yourself. Get real with the people around you. Get real with understanding what is going to be required. If you decide tomorrow you want to be a doctor, you can't just become a doctor because you wish upon a star. You have to go to school. You have to be willing to do the things required to become a doctor. So have the mindset that whatever it is that you want in life, you have to be willing to work for it. It doesn't mean that you have to work hard, because working smart is highly encouraged. We can work smarter. We don't need to work harder. I'm not saying work hard. What I'm saying is work in intentional alignment. So work in a way, take action in a way where it's intentional. It's aligned with who you want to be and the life that you want to live. I'm going to just ask that you close your eyes and just relax and, allow yourself to take in the vibrations. The only thing I ask that you repeat this message after me, and it's just so that you can open up yourself to receiving this energy. So I just want you to repeat, I open myself now to receiving healing energy from Roxsanne Phoenix, knowing that this energy is to serve my highest and greatest good, and knowing that this energy is divine, uncorruptible, and all-knowing, going where it is needed most at this time. guys enjoyed this episode of Ask Roxsi. And I hope that if you enjoyed it, that you share with your friends the experience that you had so that they can check it out when I repost, and also so that they can tune in for the next episode. Again, sending so much love and so much light to you all. And I hope that these messages you have found useful in a way that can be practically, effortlessly applied in your life in order to get you closer to your highest version of self. Love.